As you can see downstairs, we've got a timber frame section with all the glass in. I went to the Centre for Alternative Technology and saw their straw barrel theatre that they'd built, and I thought, wow, that would be great. And I'd heard of this women's building company up north that were pioneers in straw bale building. It was called Amazon Nails. And Barbara came to do a course. So we had some people that came to learn about straw bale building, and we started off with the bales. I mean, it's built like bricks. When you get to a corner, it's like bricks. When you've got a curve, it's a very technical process making a curve. It involves kind of getting the bale and getting your knee.
And these are standard modern, what I would call modern bales.
Yeah.
Between the wars, people used to use much more. They used to compress much more straw into the bales. The old balers apparently produced much tighter bales.
Right. So what's the plate made of?
Wood.
Wood.
Again. Yeah.
You have that specially made for you? Or?
Yeah, ideally you make all three plates at the same time.
Right.
Because then you've got the shape of the house, and then you have to force the straw to fit into those shapes. To make them afterwards, you can have you can do a big house.
Right. Were you doing tests to make sure that it hadn't got damp? You know.
No, we knew when it got wet.
Right.
There was one wall that kept getting rain going in, and it turned out that it was this doorway here. So I needed a door. I made a decision later to change the staircase to this area. So we actually needed to cut that section out anyway. But when we cut it out and opened it up, yes, it was black and rotten.
Why is there no mould all over the inside like there is in mine?
Because it breathes. We started with the lime plastering on the outside. The nature of lime is that it draws moisture to itself and then releases it back out into the environment. And inside we decided to use clay plaster. It took probably 8 months to plaster the house.
Inside and
out. Inside and out. With clay plaster, it's actually 1 bucket of clay to 3 buckets of sand.
Oh, sand.
To 1 bucket of chopped straw. And then half a bucket of manure.
Particular sort?
Horse is best, but we used cow because it was just in the field there.
So what proportion of water?
Whatever.
Oh, so it's like baking or something?
Yes, it is. It is like baking, and that's what is great. I mean, this house was like baking in some ways.
Yeah.
And sometimes there were courses where women would come and say, "Well, I don't know, I can't really do anything. Don't really know what I'm here for," and they go away. Barbara said, "Well, couldn't bake a cake." Okay, well, you could do something, and they go away saying, "Well, I could do that."
Yes.
The first house we have seen, it's very amazing. I love it.
You don't have to turn everything to electricity to do a fantastic amount of work. It's produced enough bread to eat horse and dogs.
So it's like the rotten. You've been going to rotten.
Yeah.
Don't get killed there. No, I'm doing it.
Definite change of note.
Woo!
castle down through the trapdoors. If you can look between the doors, you'll see the sack coming up. Again, if you look down between the doors, you should see the doors below being pulled open.
Here it is. Did Mike tell you he used to do this with himself? Come up with the rope to the hard hat on. Oh, like that. Oh, Mike used one of the party tricks. He used to sit on the rope and be drawn up. It would appear. Oh, like that.
I do hangings as well.
Yeah, just gathered that. And the rope.
Right, so that will be milled into wholemeal flour. So that's the top stone.
The business. Nice smell. Oh look, the flour coming out. Watches spilt wheat. Which is great.
Oliver Llewellyn, who's the architect of this building, to tell you a bit more about the building and how it came about. And then just arrived is Martin O'Connor, who's the heating engineer, who basically installed most of the alternative technologies that we have in the building.
The building obviously serves the function that it was designed to serve. It's a kind of theatre, but it's a studio workshop, somewhere where we could make big things, basically.
Community art space for people, all sorts of people to come and do all sorts of things in. Main part of the brief was to do with, is to do with sustainability, and in terms of actually designing this building, it meant that we didn't want to use structural steel, for instance, because it's got high embodied energy. We didn't want to use cement any more than we could possibly need to use it, hence all the wood. That's what the wood is all about. And a lot of the other stuff is obviously to do, the energy system is a air source heat pump.
The heat pump runs for a longer period because it has to heat up this dark tank of water. And then similarly, when the heat pump switches off, it's off for a long period because the heat that's stored in this large cylinder is then used to circulate through the floors to keep the property warm. So it avoids short cycling, and short cycling on a heating system is very bad news as far as running costs and efficiencies are concerned, and wear on components as well. Cost assessments of this building originally were about 40 kilowatts, which is the worst day situation when it's sort of -2 or -3 outside. The air source heat pump has a capacity of 28 kilowatts. It's supported, backed up by a gas-fired condensing boiler, which has never come on.
Wow.
So the heat pump, right to the winter. Remember this last winter when temperatures were down to -10.
It's a wonderful space. It's a wonderful space there. So I'm just trying to, if you got lots of people in it, and then actually you do it gets warm.
The rainwater harvesting system is quite a simple system in principle. You have a roof, water falls on it. Instead of pouring down the drain into the rivers, you collect it and it goes into a storage tank. The storage tank is out in the car park. The water is then pumped from the storage tank into the plant room. In the plant room it goes through 2 sediment filters which take out any bits of whatever there is in there, and then it goes through a UV ultraviolet sterilising unit. The water from there then goes into the hot water system and into the cold water systems in the premises, except for the kitchen sink, which is straight off the mains. The hot water here is heated by a solar panel, which is on the south-facing roof.
What sort of wood have you used there?
This is Douglas fir.
Sorry?
Douglas fir.
Douglas fir.
It came from down there.
Pembrokeshire, is it?
Yeah, it was, most of the wood is...
Cardigan oak is the horizontal pieces. That's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
And visiting, it makes all the difference, because you can ask those leading questions about how well things actually work. So today we had the Straw Bale House, which is a stunning award-winning house up in St Dogmores, and then we went to a place which is based on mechanical power, the watermill, very old-fashioned, very reliable and sound ecologically. And then we came to this theatre, and is using unusual technology which is not well known, like the air source heat pump. But the secret again is good design of the building, so you're not wasting heat.